and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the magic power you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get in on the action, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form and submit your dream to the show. That's it. That's all you have to do, and I will take it from there. It's been a very busy month for me. I just finished an introductory course and got to meet 30 amazing people with amazing gifts. I probably looked at 300 or more dreams just on that course because I was attempting to go very deep with each person. Not something I'd normally do on an introductory course, but I was experimenting. That's the second time I've run it, and I get a mix of people who are new to the show and people who've been following my work for years. I love seeing people's gifts, seeing their full potential, what they are capable of, but I always see what is holding them back too. That's the part people don't like, and unfortunately, it is often the only part of themselves that they are aware of. At the top of the show, I always say that the obstacles in life are the way. This is how you grow individually. This is the biggest reason why you come here to the earth plane, to heal a broken aspect of your soul. Ooh, was it jarring to hear me say broken aspect of your soul? Yeah, I did it on purpose. It's not really broken, just obscured by some limiting belief. A belief that you are not good enough, a belief that you are not smart enough, a belief that you are not attractive enough, a belief that you are not worthy of love. You came here to break whatever limiting belief it is for you and to free yourself. You already had this limiting belief in the spirit world. Your parents and your environment were chosen by you and your guides to allow you to transfer that belief to this plane so you can heal it. And that's the work I do. People know me as a dream interpreter, but what I really do is I help people heal their childhoods, heal their limiting beliefs. Yes, I use dream work as part of it and how I do it, but what I really love is seeing people transform by clearing those beliefs. That's what my signature program is all about. Clearing your limiting beliefs in 6 to 8 weeks, your specific ones as identified in your specific dreams. And I have a course coming up starting next weekend. But people don't believe me that they can clear something in 6 weeks, especially something that has dogged them their whole lives. But that's the beauty of this place. We come here to heal. This is a healing place. Here we get to see our wounds, to put a finger in them, to manifest them so coherently that we shine a light on them, so that with the help of others, we can heal them. The earth is a beautiful place for that. And I added this piece because I'm doing a dream by Rachel later on, and she is bringing a child into the world, and she thinks it's a bit much to do, but that's why we do. We come here for that, and we bring our children here for that too. But always when I do a lot of dreams, I learn new symbols, and I love that, and I always add them to my dictionary, and you can get them in the download section of my website. If you go to dream-analysis.com, there's a dictionary there. Go there, download that. It's free, and these are in it. So here's a few recent ones. A high mountain. A dream that starts off on a high mountain says you're prophetic. I've seen many dreams of high mountains and many dreams that indicate prophetic abilities, but I've seen enough now to know that a high mountain is also a symbol for that. To dream of a pink gem means you're a counselor. That's kind of cool. A blackberry, got to watch myself with blackberry here. It means that you communicate from a fearful perspective, and the communication here is about emotional expression. That's something you need to heal. And then one that was interesting was one person gave me lots and lots and lots of dreams with washrooms. And he was like, why do I always have dreams of washrooms? So I thought, okay, I will have a look at that, and we'll use his dreams on the show because it is quite interesting. And so here's the first one from Jason. He says, I have frequent dreams of taking math-related tests such as algebra, calculus, and sometimes unknown formulae. And he says a bit more about them. But when we see dreams about taking tests, and we assume he's had these dreams recently, it's really good. It says whatever you're thinking of doing, whatever you're planning, now is a really good time for that, because we are only ever allowed to do a test when the authorities deem that we're ready to pass the test. Now, we may fail the test in reality, but the authority in your life is your higher self, the same source of dreams. That's where our dreams come from our higher self. And our higher self is saying, look, you are ready. You just maybe don't feel that you are, but you are ready. And after this point in life, once you do whatever the dream is asking you to do, your life is just going to take off in some really good way. So I include that even though it doesn't have the washrooms, because it's going to be significant. So here's one of two dreams with washrooms. I'm with my dad and uncle from my mother's side and one of my female friends. We were in a very large and nicely decorated washroom with lounge chairs, tables, etc. It does not feel like a normal washroom, but more like a salon. My uncle was lounging comfortably on a single sofa. My dad and I were sitting by a table, and he was telling me that a road between Pakistan and China was being built, and a university was being kicked out of school because he had some criticism or opinion on the road's construction. And he says in real life, none of that is going on at all. And he said, my dad doesn't even argue with me. But okay, I'm not really going into the details of that dream, but we have the washroom, and we know that the dad is talking about somebody getting kicked out of school. So this is a thing. The dreamer is afraid of something connected to dad and to being ostracized by dad. Let's put it that way. And we're going to get from this dream. Last one. Jason says, I'm in a very old subway station, almost deserted. I found an entryway used by the maintenance worker. The entry is rather tight. It looks like somewhere they would store things or go to a washroom in case of emergency while maintaining the tracks. In the small space, I found a closet. It had many colourful clothes. Behind the clothes, as I looked further, I see another entry was leading somewhere else. It could be a washroom. And that's the end of the dream. So you can understand why Jason is wondering why all these washrooms. Well, the answer is, and I did this dream in person with Jason and got his permission to use it. It's about him coming clean about something. And we see the reference in the dream. He says, I found a closet with many colorful clothes. So he's hiding something about his nature. And it didn't take him long to fess up to it. But I asked him, what's your sexual orientation? It was clearly an uncomfortable question, but for him, and that kind of tells his age, because in this more modern age, kids don't have a problem with coming out of the closet and saying, hey, I'm gay. In fact, a lot of people are never even in a closet. But if you're my age, if you're up around my age, if you're in your 50s, it wasn't an easy time, depending on where you lived, but even so, it wasn't an easy time. So my best friend is gay. He didn't come out of the closet to me until he was about 27. And I knew for years. I didn't figure it out myself. His sister told me. But it's still kind of funny. Not funny for them, but the fact that people feel the need to hide this part of their nature. And this dream is saying like that this closet has so many colorful clothes. It's saying, look, you are much more colorful than you let on. There's more aspects to you than you let on. And this person in his 50s has never been in a relationship, suppresses that much, so much so because of the way things were in society when he grew up. But anyway, that's what he says he needs to do. I've come across that before in dreams, not using that symbolism. But when somebody does come open up about this, they always end up living a life that they wish that they had lived many, many, many years before, because that's what you're here to do. You're not here to suppress yourself. You're here to say, this is me, this is who I am. And anybody who would reject you for who you are, they have a problem, not you. And of course, when you consider, oh, well, if it's my dad, it's understandable why you would want dad's love. But based on the dream with the exam and the fact that your dad is in other dreams, this is not going to go a bad way. I mean, that's the way I would say it, just based on the exam dream. But it's your life, and I understand it. But I know people who are younger probably don't. Anyway, let's have a look at another dream. This dream is from Jane. She says, I wake up in my second floor bedroom in my childhood home. Okay, so we know straight away Second floor childhood home means you at age 2. I didn't sleep well because the girls I share the room with arrived home around 4 a.m. So girls arriving home is actually pretty good, but 4 a.m. isn't. And sharing, we have a reference to sharing. So we know this dream is going to be about you needing to open your heart, work on issues that cause you to keep your heart closed. Of course, that probably sounds harsh. We don't close our hearts, but we build a wall up in front of our hearts. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to let anybody close. Something happened to me by the age of 2. I had decided I'm going to put this wall up and I'm going to keep people at a distance. And really, most of the time, the reason is I didn't get the love I needed. I felt rejected. So I'm going to put this wall up and I'm going to keep people at a distance so that they don't get close to me. And if they can't get close to me, they can't reject me because I can't take that pain. And so this dream is going to be is about that, but it's about clearing the conditioning, whatever it is that caused you to put that wall up, a wall that you needed in childhood. It helped you survive childhood, but now you're an adult. It's time for it to go. Anyway, they didn't wake me up completely, but they did interrupt my sleep. Well, that's a pity. It would be much better in a dream if they did wake you up completely, because waking up in a dream is about waking up to the reality of a situation. I noticed that my mother removed the window air conditioner, and I asked, why remove it just because it got cooler outside for a few days? It can still get warm in September. I look out the window, and right there is the AC unit sitting on a tower and level with the window. So mom removed it, so that means the issue is connected to mom because mom's there. And the air conditioner is like, it represents conditioning that the dreamer picked up in childhood that causes her to be cold, because that's what an air conditioner does, but causes her to be cold. And that means emotionally cold. You know, I don't share myself. If I'm in a room with other people, I'm just going to be quiet and kind of hide, and I'll let other people talk and share, but I'm not going to. Why? Well, because I don't want to be rejected, and it's easier for me to not put my not to say anything than to say something and be rejected. But anyway, the mom removes the air conditioner, which is great, and it's a window air conditioner, so we know that the dreamer has psychic ability. They have a strong connection with their higher selves because of the window. And she says, look, it can still get warm in December. So she's like, I don't want it to get warm. So this is like warming up. An emotionally warm person is somebody who's going to invite you in. They let you into who they are. And that's what you need to do, let people in. You say the dream continues on. Oh yeah, sorry. You look at the window. It's right. The AC unit is sitting on a tower and level with the window. So the tower tells us that because of this emotional rejection, let's say in childhood, because you didn't get the love you needed in childhood, you became intellectual, and that's what the tower represents. So you became rational. You like close off the heart, block the heart, and rationalize your way through life. So you're very analytical, very rational. If you were presented with choices, you wouldn't say, well, this one feels best to me. You would calculate and say, well, this is the best logical choice. And this dream is saying, look, you don't want to be that logical person anymore. You want to move down out of your head and into your heart, and let your heart make the decisions. Yes, you get to keep your bright smarts, but use them to help you achieve whatever it is your heart says you need to do. But it also tells us something else. It tells us you have the ability to do absent healing, projection, and hypnosis. And I've talked about that many times on the show. And I talked with Jane about this as well before the show. Yeah, really, I should have these people on, shouldn't I? Anyway, you say, I want to put it back in the window. Of course you do. There is a man I recognize as a TV actor who can help put it back, but there's a white piece missing. I start going through all the parts looking for the missing piece. Couldn't find it, and I woke up. So she says, this was my actual bedroom when I was a child. Okay, so good. But you're not there now. And she says, but we didn't have AC. And so the TV actor, she also says, is from the series Eureka. And she says, I consider that Eureka is about finding something. It's believed to have been shouted by Archimedes when he discovered the solution to a major problem. So that's exactly it. So I've been working with Jane, and this dream is saying, look, you've hit the nail on the head. You need to remove the conditioning that you picked up in childhood from your mom, and that's gonna help you. And the TV actor is like the same as the tower. It says you've an ability to channel, but also that you're comfortable in a rationalizing space. And you even say the man wants to put it back. And that's not good. That's like, so your head is saying, no, 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 please, please don't open your heart. Remember, this is a terrible thing to do. Stay away from your heart. And the white missing piece, white is white as a color. If it's the only color mentioned, it's negative, and it's about being overly critical. So you're very hard on yourself, and this is the piece that you got to lose. You got to heal the fact that you're very hard on yourself, and that's going to help you. Okay, let's have a yeah. Here's another one I really liked when I came across this one. And I like it because I was puzzled initially, so I'm just only going to do a bit of it, and it's from Dale. Here's the little bit of a dream. He says, I was in a cafe with you, yes, Michael Sheridan, and someone else. I ordered fried bread, sausage, bacon, and beans, but when the food came, it was boiled potatoes, rice, and some other stuff. I was complaining to the staff that there was not one thing that I had ordered, and I couldn't believe that I actually took it and let them get away with it. You have to chuckle. Because knowing this person, he wouldn't let them away with it in reality. Well, I assume he wouldn't, just from talking to him on the phone. But so I initially said this dream is about your elimination system, and these are foods that you're not able to eat. And he said, yes, I know that, but I haven't eaten them in about 20 years. And so that was intriguing then. Why would he dream about foods that he already knows he can't eat when he's already cut them out of his diet? And, so that part was right. And so I channeled on it. And what I got was that he's asking the universe, he's asking Source and his guides for stuff that he shouldn't be asking for. And he's not happy that they're not giving him what he's asking for. And the dream, in a kind of a poetic way, is saying, look, we're actually helping you out. The same way you had to cut these other things out of your diet to stop the elimination problems, we are not giving you the things that you're asking for that aren't any good for you. So we're actually really benevolent. But anyway, I just wanted to include it for that because I thought it was kind of cool. So here's Rachel's dream. Here's the one I promised. She says, 2 nights ago, I dreamt that there was what appeared to be an extra toenail on my left foot's big toe. I peeled it off, and shockingly, it left a gaping, disgusting hole there. Right afterwards, I pulled off a larger section of my foot and was so afraid to see myself coming apart. Well, you see, even the expression there, to see myself coming apart, is kind of interesting. And so that's the dream. And I've said on the show many times that teeth are about raising kids, and so are nails. Fingernails and toenails are about raising kids. So would a claw, but we don't have claws. So, but it's like teeth and nails are how animals defend their young and raise their young. Animals carry the young around with their teeth, so on and so on and so on. And we're animals on the animal planet, which we often forget. But anyway, she says, I'm pregnant, and they said the dreams would be weird. Well, even if they didn't say it, you're hitting the right thing here because of the extra toenail. We know that the toenail is about raising kids. And so you haven't, at this point, because you're taking your foot apart, and feet, of course, we use our feet to move forward in life. It's like, I'm not sure that I'm equipped to move forward in life, is really what this dream is saying. And let's read the next one, even though it's a little bit bad. Only in terms of how it sounds. She said, then last night I dreamt there was a scar on my index finger on my right hand. I thought to cut my finger off below the scar in favor of the scar not being there. Of course, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I used fingernail clippers and had to cut my finger down twice to reach the scar. Afterwards, I had a small stumpy finger and was looking at it closely to see how it all looked now. I showed it to someone to prove it wasn't that noticeable. Then suddenly, there was a fingernail on the end of the stumpy finger, like I had placed one there to make it appear as normal as possible. And she calls the dream body destruction. And anybody who's had a kid, and this is her first kid, that would be a fair enough title to give a dream because of concerns you'd have. But really what the dream is saying, you need to clear your scars so your child is not affected by them. That's what your intention is. And I wrote to Rachel before the show and just got this reply today. And she says, "Hi, Michael. This is a planned pregnancy, but I suppose I never saw the day I would have to bite this bullet. I'll be 35 and gave this a chance. I love my freedoms and my lifestyle. This child was something my husband wanted more than me. Honestly, it won't be bad. I won't be a bad mom, though. Well, of course not. This is just about fears. It's not about how things are gonna be. The most upsetting aspect for me is that I'm bringing a life into a planet I feel has no promising future. And so that's why I included this section at the start. We come here to heal. And of course, we look at some of the bad things in our lives and bad things in other people's lives. In fact, that's something people really need to stop doing, is looking at the bad things in other people's lives. Look at your own life and heal yourself. And if everybody did that, it would just be so great. But no, people will look at other things and say, what about this? And what about that? And what about the other? And yeah, what about them? It's not part of your life, so don't focus on it. Anyway, um, she says, yeah, I feel guilty doing this, and I feel like I'm failing my responsibility to our already overwhelmed, burning, choking planet. Now, remember what I said, your kid comes here to heal herself or himself, so leave the choice for the up to them. And yeah, so that's what the dreams are about. But that's what we come here for. We come here to heal. We come here to see, um, or like I said earlier, to coherently manifest something negative about ourselves that we need to heal. And then when we can see it on the earth plane, we can come across healers that can help us in ways that we can't do in the spirit world. Because if I'm really negative and down, I can't sit beside somebody who's the equivalent of the Buddha because their vibration is so high. I don't even know they exist. But on the earth plane, I do. It's a level playing field for everybody. And so even guides who come to the planet, they have to go through something that's going to bring them down and anchor them. Um, but anyway, that's it. I'm looking at the time and I'm trying to figure out how many more we have time for and which ones will I do. Um, let's do this one from Helen. She says there was a woman with 2 children. She was thinking of going out with a man, but didn't know him well and didn't trust him. So, okay. So this dreamer doesn't trust men. Why not? She was afraid for the safety of her children, as she knew that children are most likely to suffer sexual abuse from the partners of their parents. Interesting. The older child didn't understand this and somehow was upset that she wouldn't go out with the man. Then she heard something to do with the man and the neighbor's child that made her think he might not be a good person to have around her children. So, okay, this dreamer, Helen, has never been abused. It's just never been part of her life. She's very positive. Her parents are very spiritual and always were. So there's no issue like that. But she hasn't been in a relationship for about 3 years, she said. She's only 34, I think, if I remember right. So she's quite young, hasn't been in a relationship for years. And this dream is kind of hitting on that. But we'll do a little bit more and we'll see where it comes from. Then there was women in a room doing some sort of magic ritual. The light in the room was dark red. Dark red is the color of the base chakra. Well, red is the color of the base chakra, but dark red tells us, oh, there's fears picked up connected to the base chakra. The ritual involved for something like taking their eye out, not physically, or something similar. And I find that interesting. So I should have looked this up. I don't know his name. But Thor's father, the All-Father or whatever, he always wears an eye patch. You see him in all the Avengers movies and so on, and Thor movies. And he sacrificed his eye deliberately, according to mythology, because it would give him an ability to see into the non-physical world. So he can see more than just the physical because he sacrificed this eye. So anyway, that tells us something about this dreamer. That's what this is about too. There was a woman glowing with a red light in the center of the room. There were strings tied across the room. I was going to cross over to the other side. Of one of the strings. Now ignore of one of the strings to get closer, but I was told by a man that I couldn't take part because I hadn't done the thing with the eyes. I felt very afraid and I sat curled up next to the door, moaning because of the intensity of it. So this is her in the womb. The whole dream is her in the womb, and that's why the red is this significant color. And she picked up fears while in the womb. And but she has this special vision, special ability to see things that other people can't see, and that's emphasized in the dream. So her fear of men, her mistrust of men, comes from this stage. So it didn't come from this lifetime. It came from something else, a former lifetime or something else that she programmed into herself because it's something that she needs to heal. So it's very interesting to see that. And so she says she was curled up next to the door. So she's in the fetal position. Of course you are, because you're in the womb. And then what else did she said? They said I shouldn't show my upset because it would upset the children, so I calmed myself down. So this upset that she picked up in childhood, she's told, no, don't be upset, don't show that. So she's learned to suppress this part of her nature. They asked me if I could see the baby, which I could if I focused. I could see the woman glowing was pregnant, and I could see the baby inside her glowing. I could also see other parts of her through this magic. Her beard hairs that were part of her masculinity that weren't visible normally, all glowing red. The more glowing red, the more I focused, the more detail I could see. So this is great. This is really showing her what she can do, heal these issues that she has, that she's picked up in the womb. Now, these are probably the hardest ones to work on, because you need to use an unconventional therapy, let's say, to heal these. But again, that's what I do. By unconventional, I mean, if you don't have conscious memory of it, you can't use analytical, logical way of addressing it. Anyway, skipping parts of the dream because we're out of time. There was a guy skiing down this narrow hill really fast. Okay, skip that. My dad was there and noticed something about the weather. So I said that it might rain and pointed at some black clouds. They were traveling really fast, going in and then out of a tunnel in the mountains and then disappearing. I tried showing my dad, but before he'd seen them, they disappeared. My friends were leaving and said we should visit them. They lived on some far away island. I laughed about the idea that I would never visit them. Anyway, that's the dream. So it's saying that she has depression. She has been depressed, not clinically, but she has been depressed for periods of her life. And she doesn't know where that comes from. And this dream says, look, it all comes from it comes from when you were in the womb. That's when you've got to work on. That's where your issues manifested. And that's going to be it. That's it for our show. If you want me to analyze your dreams on the show, go to dream-analysis.com and fill in the form. And if you want to attempt your own analysis, get my free symbol dictionary at the same location, dream-analysis.com. Thank you very much for listening.